Okay, so I'm in the car and I'm off to meet a fellow Pinball Info member. PinballDaze is the username. I'll put it on the description down below as well, just so you've got his account in case you want any parts and things off of him. But he messaged me, I put a wanted adder for parts for my build, and he messaged me to say he's got a load of parts. He buys and sells parts and machines and repairs machines and services machines. He even got one out on location, which is really cool. So yeah, really nice guy to go and meet. So we're going to go and catch up with Dave, have a look what he's got. I won't film in his place because I know it's his personal workshop, so I'm not going to be filming there, but I'll show you when I get back to the garage later on what I picked up and where I think it's going to be part of the build. I know he's got some slings for me, but we'll see what else he's got when we get there. Cool, catch you in a sec. Okay, so back from Dave's. Been a couple of days actually, and I picked up some extra parts, so this was going to be a bit of a pickups video as well as the things I got from Dave. So first of all, I just want to say what a lovely guy. Thank you, Dave, for having me over. I didn't film in his workshop. It's a bit like this. It's a personal workshop space. Very similar condition to this. You've got to squeeze through some gaps and things in it, and that's how a workshop should be. He's got a load of parts here, loads of used parts, loads of new parts in his house as well. I bought a bit of a mix of both, so I'll show you those in a second. But on his one wall, absolutely amazing idea. He's got all these old floppy disk holders. So if you imagine the old floppy disks for PC and Amiga and things like that, these holders just hold the floppy disks on the wall, and they used to have dividers in them to sort them out. And yeah, he's got loads of them on the wall, and I said to him, have you got this part? Yeah, no worries. Into a drawer, knew exactly where it was. So organised chaos is exactly how it should be. So I picked up a mix of new and used parts off Dave. I'll show you some other things that I picked up as well, just because I got a load of parts off him, but I wanted to complement it with some new parts as well from Pinball Heaven. So we'll go through that, and I got something a little bit exciting as well. It's not exciting, you'll see it in a bit, but it's not that exciting. But let's go through this bag. I've not opened this up since I come back from Dave's, which is a few days ago now. So in here we'll have a look through together what we've got. Okay, so this is one of the key things I went for. Flipper mechs. So brand new Stern flipper mechs, a left and a right flipper mech. I've got flipper mechs in the pinball machine that I teared down, so the EM table that Alan J gave me. I bought some flipper mechs, but they weren't matching pairs, so I wanted a matching pair for the bottom. Then I'll use a third party one or another one further up the table if I want another flipper in there. But they're brand new flipper mechs, so they should be really cool. Stern, I can't remember, no diodes, 090502030ND. You may know the coil and everything on there. Hopefully that's going to have a decent strength in there. I think it's off of fairly new Stern models, so they should be pretty powerful and give us a nice modern feel to the table. But as you can see, that's how they come. They come with no flipper bats or anything else, so we'll come on to those in a little bit. Okay, so I'm back. I rested my camera up on a tub of Game Boy games at the moment, so I dropped it. And yeah, makes the video live. It's a real experience. These are just some of the parts I picked up off Dave. These are used parts now. So in the bottom I've got three targets in there. They're just hit targets. And yeah, they're pretty cool. I think I've got two front mounted and one rear mounted. I don't know where we're going to use these yet. I haven't even started planning the table out, but I knew I wanted a couple of hit targets in there as well. So we've got three targets, the two flipper mechs. Let's put this down here. I've got a bag full of other things. So I've got slingshots. So two slingshots. These are from I think he said they were Data East slingshots. Yeah, so I've got two slingshots there, one for either side, so I can get the slingshot set up as well. Really keen to test these out and get these working on the system as well. I think they are, obviously, I think they're identical whether they're left or right anyway. If I'm wrong with that, let me know. Yeah, we've got two working slingshots, so that's pretty cool. So you can see I'm building up the parts now for the lower part of the playfield. These next parts get onto the upper part of the playfield, and I think these are three matching-ish setups as well. I don't know what tables these are off. If you know, again, comment down below. There's three pop bumpers here. I think one of them's got a couple of bits snapped off the top, off the plastics there. But I'll sort something out either with 3D printing or some other way of just holding it onto the playfield. I'll figure that out. But 3 nice matching pop bumpers, really cool. Again, I've got pop bumpers on the EM playfield, but they were an older style, and it wasn't bad to get some new ones in as well. So they're new but used. He gave me a couple of pieces of this Perspex. He said it's a certain type of sheet Perspex which is a lot more flexible, and he uses this for the insert covers and things like that, so that's quite handy to have. And as you see, it is quite a flexible Perspex, so that's quite handy to have when I'm prototyping and getting things set up. So they're the main parts I got off him, and then I got these amazing parts as well. A couple of wire forms. So that one is an up kicker into a straight, and then maybe like a lane return or something on the bottom of it there, so we could have that coming off an up kicker, maybe diagonally across the table. They're a little bit rusty and I need a bit of a clean up, but that's great. What I might do with these, if I do end up using them, is getting them blasted and then powder coated so they look whatever theme I want. People got mixed views on powder coating pinball parts, especially metal work, because obviously the balls run around quite a lot, but I think if the powder coating's done well, I've seen them work quite nicely. So that's one. Another one with an up kicker to a almost like a straight out, but an up kick out with a curve on it. Quite a cool curve actually. Again, I don't know whether I'm going to use all of these, but he said take them with me, see what I want to do, and then go from there. So that one's pretty cool. And then the next one I'm really keen to include. It's quite big, huge actually, but look at that loop. That's really cool. So you imagine the ball coming in at the top there, spinning around, and then you've got this nice straight, getting a bit of speed on it, and then returns down to the lane or somewhere else onto the table. That's a pretty cool wire form. So yeah, really like that one as well. Again, I don't know whether I'm going to use all of these or how I'm going to use all of these. I really would like to include them somehow, but we'll play around with the wood and everything on the Whitewood when we've got that set up, just to see how it looks and how it works. Before we make any final decisions. This could be a ramp that comes up, maybe comes around, and then this joins into the here, and then the ball comes down. Some really cool ideas on how we can use these, but yeah, it's nice just to have these as options, and Dave threw them in free of charge just because they were knocking around. He didn't know what system they're off, and he said look, he's never going to sell them unless he knows which system, so he's happy for them to come to me. So that's everything I got from Dave. Absolute legend. Thank you so much for sorting everything out for me, Dave. It was really good to meet you, and we've got some really good exciting plans around events and things, so I'm really keen to help you on that if I can. But yeah, it was really good to go up and meet a local-ish pinball enthusiast, and somebody that's got loads of parts and other things as well. So yeah, really good to meet somebody locally, and somebody that's got a wealth of knowledge as well. So really cool to have you on my quick dial, Dave. I'll be giving you a shout no doubt at some point when I'm stuck and I can't get something to work, but I'll be giving you a shout in the future, and you're going to have to come down here at some point and play test this table when it's up and running. So that's everything I bought off Dave. There's a couple of things missing off of there which I need to complement them to get them working, and I did an order with Pinball Heaven. I keep going to call them Pinball Mayhem. Anyone wants to open a company called Pinball Mayhem, really good name. But I bought them off Pinball Heaven. Got a small box. I think this small box cost me about, oh there you go, £69 or 60, yeah, £69.80 plus shipping, another £5. So pinball parts are not cheap. But there's a range of things in here, and there's a load of things in here which are bulk, which I bought in bulk. So a bulk bag of rubbers, flipper bat rubbers, which I stupidly bought extra ones of. Loads of rubbers for posts and slings and everything else. So we've got loads in there that's going to keep us going and get that table up and running. As I said, I stupidly bought an extra set of bat rubbers, but I've also bought 3 bats, pinball bats, so flipper bats, whatever you want to call them. These are data east ones, and they are, yeah, just standard flipper bats, so they should fit into here, go through the lock. It's probably a bit tight at the moment, but they go in here, and then when this mechanism moves back and forth, that flipper bat moves. So yeah, it's really cool to complete those, because I can test these out with all new, nice new kit now. So we've got 3 of those to go with the 2 that I've got here, and a third one which I'll use for my spares, which I bought off of Pinball Info before. So that's those. They're really cool. A couple of posts, just plastics for posts. Nothing exciting in those. A couple of pence each, but I just bought 6 in to start off. Then I bought this random bag of screws, which this isn't going to be the most interesting part of the YouTube video, but I'll show you quickly. But because there's so many different types of screws on a pinball machine, that this is almost like a starter set. If you lost anything, if you're going to be working on anything, it's a good little bag to have with all just little spares and screws and things in there. So I wanted to get something like that just to see how I'm going to be fitting everything to the table. And then once I know the type of screws and type of nuts that I want to use, then I'll buy them in bulk. So that was just a kit to get me started on that. And last but not least, I got me some balls. I got an extra set of 3 balls. What I'll probably do is I'll have a look at these. I'll probably, when I move the machines around, I'll take the ones out of Getaway. I'll put these into the Getaway, and I'll take the spare ones out for the project build, and then I'll replace them when we get a bit closer to doing the artwork and everything else on this. So there's nice new ones in there again, but it'd be nice to put them into the Getaway for now. And that's it. So all of those little parts cost me about 70 quid, which you can see why pinball machines are not cheap, because they add up. But there's quite a few big bulk bags, so I think some of these are like 20 quid a bag. The flipper bats, all of those kinds of things add up. So yeah, not knocking Pinball Heaven in any way, because that's the going rate, and if anything they were cheaper. I shopped around a little bit, got through to their prices, and yeah, really chuffed with how fast it all came through as well. I think ordered on Wednesday, I think they were here on a Monday morning, just because of the weekend. I think they would have been even sooner as well. So yeah, really cool. Thank you, Pinball Heaven. To go with all that, I've got some parts from China, so a good old AliExpress delivery. Can't fault this. There are 50 LEDs in there. So these are the RGB addressable LEDs. So these ones, you snap them off, you can solder 3 little contacts on the back of them. You're not going to see this on this camera, but there's 3 little contacts on them for power, 2 for power, and then 1 for the address signal. And then you can send signals through to this and change all the colours of the pinball machine with software at a later stage. So I've got 50 to start off with. I'm probably going to need more. Just thinking about it, 50 is probably not enough, but I thought I'll buy 50, see how they come, and give that a go. Other parts, bought myself some nut drivers. Gotta have some nut drivers for a pinball machine. A lot of pinball machines use nut drivers and nuts heads on the screws when they're screwing them into the playfield, so a set of nut drivers are going to be handy. And finally, this one's from Amazon, or finally in this order, some Evapo rust. So there's a couple of mechanisms in here, things like our big drop targets from the EM playfield. I want to soak those in Evapo rust. I thought this was going to be a huge bucket of it, and I'd be able to soak the whole thing in there. It's not going to work, is it? I might have to do a very thin layer in a bowl and then turn it over and soak it and maybe strip things down. I thought that was going to be a lot bigger. I think that cost me about 20 quid just for a little tub of Evapo rust. I'll see how I can use it and what the best way of using it is, but I honestly thought that was going to be a lot bigger. But that's 1 litre. I think I probably wanted the 5 litre tub of it to soak everything in, but we'll start with that one and we'll get more as we need to. And finally, I'll show you some footage now, but I've been up to B&Q, which is just a couple of miles away from me, and I bought some of the most exciting part of this build, and it's probably one of the cheaper part of it, and it's wood. So we got some Playfield wood. So this is the correct size, correct-ish size, I think. Let's put it down. So I've ordered this, or had it cut to size. I'll show you the guy cutting it now. Nothing exciting. If you had wood cut in B&Q before, there's nothing dramatic or exciting about it. He did a really good job, in fairness to the guys. I bought a sheet of ply. It cost me £35 for a sheet of ply. It's 12mm thick. On Pinball Maker's website, they tell you to get I can't remember what the exact measurement is, I'll put it up on the screen now, but they tell you to get a thicker version and then sand it down, and it takes it down to 1/2 inch. In the UK I couldn't find 1/2 inch plywood. 12mm is just under 1/2 inch, so I think I may need to use some spacers and things when I'm building this if things are too close or too high. So if you imagine I'm screwing this to the bottom of the playfield, which is my 1/2 inch playfield, these targets come up and they sit there like that. Are they going to be too high with that couple of mil extra, or are they going to be okay and still get hit and knocked down and things like that? So we will have a look at that when we're building it, see if 12mm is okay. They do say to go thicker. Then when you sand down at the end, you can sand down like maybe a millimetre off of it or so, and then it gives you the nice flush finish with all your inserts and everything in there. But I got a slightly different idea around my inserts, so we'll see how that goes as well. But yeah, it was good to get. I got 4 sheets out of that for £35, so I got 4 pieces of plywood cut for £35, so I can cut those, adjust it, screw things in, have a couple of tests around with it without having to worry about how much it's costing me on failing on the first piece. So no doubt I'm going to cut holes in this, and I'm going to want to move things, play it a little bit, move things around, and then go again. So I got 4 attempts before I got to buy another sheet of wood, which is pretty good value. I could always take one of these into the Cardiff makerspace, the hack space, and see if they could CNC it for me. But for now I think I'm okay. I'm going to start measuring up, playing around with my head just to see where I want everything. I've got some wire forms, I've got some targets, I've got pop bumpers, I've got flippers. I kind of got everything now that can start to make an idea of what I want to lay out on my pinball table, so that's going to be really good. So over the next couple of weeks I'm probably going to get some like wallpaper, just blank wallpaper, do another backing paper, get some of that, roll it out across this pinball machine table, the playfield table, draw it on there, see if I can get a bit of an idea of it, move things around, see how it goes, and we'll go from there. So really excited. This is a really cool point of the project. I can't stop anymore now. I've got into this, I've invested financially into it, I've got parts everywhere. I've still got no room out here, so I need to tidy everything up, but I've got parts everywhere, and I think I've pretty much got all the parts I need to start going into a bit of a build now. The next thing I need to do, as I said earlier, is do the electronic side of things. So that's going to be one of my next things to do. It may take me a couple of weeks, so I'm home now until the 16th of November, then I'm away for a couple of weeks with work. If I get chance before then to do the electronics, just even if it's just building the boards, I really want to get into doing that. So hopefully that'll be my next build, but I do have to try and tidy this garage as well, because I can't move in here. I literally cannot move. I've got so much stuff in here that I need to tidy some stuff out, tidy up the room, and then we'll go from there. So lots of things going on, lots of things bought in. I'm bloody skint. It's costing me a fair whack of money, but also a lot cheaper than it could have been if you were buying a brand new pinball machine. So fingers crossed at the end of this we can have something really cool and something that I think is worth my money that I've invested in it. And it's also, I'm only investing when and parts when I can afford to. I'm not going into credit cards, I'm not doing anything else like that, anything stupid. I'm just buying parts every now and then, every couple of weeks. I had a couple of pound that I put away for buying parts off of Dave. I had a couple of pound left over to buy some parts off of Pinball Heaven, and then other things from Amazon, gift cards and things like that over the time. So yeah, not going stupid on spending, which is really good. I will try and do a total at some point just to see how much I spent on this, but at the moment I think I'm in about the ballpark £450 not much really. When you think of pinball machine, is probably average decent pinball machine is probably about £5,000. So then they go up from there. So brand new pinball machines are in the 10,000 plus the range these days. So yeah, not too bad at the moment. A couple of £100. I know I'm mixing new and old, and I'm buying things, and I've not tested anything yet. The next thing to do is to try and get all those electronic parts together. I've got loads of wire as well. I've not brought that down, but it's up in the room. I bought a load of wire off online as well, just to get a load of wire in here ready to do the wiring. And yeah, I'm onto the build next. So stick with me. I've got another couple of videos to come over the next couple of weeks, and hopefully we'll get get one of these pinball flippers flipping on the table at some point. That'd be really cool. Even if I just knock a ball around the table, that would be really cool just to see that. So stick with me and I'll see you on the next video. As usual, comment down below, like, subscribe, all those kind of things, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.